Hello, Wolfpack fans. Marcy Bullock from the Career Development Center here with a quick webinar on getting recommendations as you move from student to professional. So you did the hard work of getting into an amazing institution. You got picked to come here. Someone had to reinforce the fact that you were worthy. And that will happen for your next step as well, whether it's an internship or a job, or maybe even more education in the future. Make sure to follow us on social media so you can see all the opportunities listed. We're going to go over a few main tips today to help you build relationships with people that you would later ask to recommend you. How to do the ask, how to make it really easy, how to show appreciation, and a couple of examples. So the biggest challenge is building relationships. You want to start as early as possible to take advantage of office hours and maybe think about all the faculty that you're taking classes with your first semester, or even if you're watching this later in your college career, who seems approachable. Most of our faculty members really love to see our students do amazing things, and they want to support them in the future. So asking them to write you a letter or post a LinkedIn recommendation, all of those things are very common, but you do have to put the effort in ahead of time to build the relationship. So if you're in a class of 20, 40, or even an online class, all of your faculty members will offer opportunities for one-on-one conversations, maybe in a Zoom meeting or a walk and talk outside when you're socially distanced, or coffee. Take advantage of the chance to have this conversation. It sounds really scary to build a relationship. What will I talk about? But what you do is you look for opportunities to see what commonalities you have with this individual. Maybe you share an interest in a certain kind of music, or you have a certain hobby in common. These are people who are welcoming the opportunity to mentor you in your future. And one-on-one is the key, because if you're in a group of 30 or more, it's hard to really know who you were. And if you took a class with me, let's say, and then asked me for a recommendation, and all I can say is you got an A in my class, that's not a very in-depth recommendation. And as you'll see on the sample in a moment, we are asked some very deep questions about you. And that's why this relationship building piece is key, to have these one-on-one conversations, to give and be generous to this person that you're going to be asking a favor for in the future, to write a letter. Maybe it's to get into medical school. Whatever your goals may be, you're going to need a person who is going to say, yes, I put my reputation on the line for this individual. So maybe you were a TA or a research assistant. Your supervisors are excellent people because they know you well. It's not critical that you get the CEO of the company you interned for to write you a letter for the next thing, because they don't know you that well. How in-depth the letter is more important than the highest job title at the company. So go with your actual supervisor. And again, be curious about things that they're interested in. That will help you to build the relationship, is by just asking good questions and listening. People want to talk. If you ask for advice, they will give you advice, and sit at the heels of someone wiser than you. Once you have built the relationship, now it's time to do the ask. And this is the simple yet very frightening question because of the fear of rejection. What if they say no? But honestly, if you've already built the relationship, if you approach someone and say, would you support my candidacy for this internship, this co-op, this job, this whatever it is in the future, graduate school application, most likely they're going to be happy to help you out. Now think ahead of time. Why are you asking this person? What about your relationship is important enough to you for them to be the one or two people that write this letter or maybe post a recommendation on LinkedIn? That means you have to know them pretty well. And you always want to be respectful and give them plenty of time. Be genuine. Say, I know you're really busy, but I really look up to you. And based on all the great advice you've given me over my college career, I would love to see if you'd be able to support me. And I'm happy to make it as easy as possible for you. That's showing that you're prepared. You're being very respectful of their time, and you're just being friendly and nice. All of those things go a long way. Here's how you can make it easy. Bring your resume to the conversation with them. So the first step was the ask. Maybe that was a phone call or an email saying, I wonder if you'd be able to support me. Once they say yes, then you set up maybe the Zoom one-on-one conversation or the walk and talk where you can give the resume to them, and you can also show them a copy of the role you're aspiring to so they know what they're recommending you for and they can see what qualifications are needed. Don't be shy to toot your own horn and share a brag sheet about yourself, just a paragraph that explains why you're a fit for this role, because they may not remember that you were president of the Agricultural Sciences Club, but you can remind them of that. And you can explain how this fits in with your career goals. That makes it so easy on your recommender. And then the thank you, the appreciation, a handwritten thank you note shows so much sincerity. It goes a long way. And give them that deadline. Maybe it's 2 weeks away. Follow up with them when it's a week away, letting them know how much you appreciate it, because things can slip through the cracks. And then keep them informed of your progress. So once you get the opportunity, maybe you want to recommend them in the future as well. Now we're going to go to a new screen share, which is going to show you some examples of actual recommendation forms. So we're going to start off with this recommendation questionnaire. This is a real questionnaire that I got when I was asked to refer a student. Now, if this was just a student that took my class that I didn't know that much about, how much could I say about their honesty or their use of technology or their dependability or their confidence? Each one of these questions asks me if I've never recommended or seen it, or if I would say they're above average. And of course, the highest rating is going to be always. So each one of these questions, as we scroll down, is pretty in depth, which is why that relationship building is so important. I spend about an hour writing a recommendation, and it could be for someone that took my class that came into office hours that I actually know their name. But if I don't, then I often will decline. Oftentimes it's for people that I've worked with really closely, like a teaching assistant, career ambassador, or an intern. But look at this. Does this person treat other people with different backgrounds and gender fair and respectfully? Every single one of these questions is very complicated, and I might not know all of the answers to these questions, but the key here is spend the time to develop the relationship so that you are not just a number in a classroom. So now I'm showing you an actual recommendation sample letter. And on here, this is what a template might look like if I was asked to write a recommendation. I would say the name of the student, clearly. I'm happy to recommend Jane Doe from medical school, and then I'll mention the year that Jane took my class, and then I will put in more information about the work that that student did in my class. A lot of faculty have templates like this so that they don't have to start from scratch, so you don't have to feel really bad about making it hard on them. I use the Gallup Strength Finder in my class, so I typically highlight the top 5 strengths of the student who took my class because everyone knows their top strength, and then I quickly define it because there's a 1 in 33 million chance that someone would have the same top 5 strengths as you in the same order, so that makes you pretty unique. Now, sometimes I might even ask a student, would you mind giving me a template letter like this and fill in all of the things about you in the third person? Well, you were already prepared, you already had your little paragraph ready, and you are good to go. That's the overview. of asking for the letter of recommendation, or maybe it's not even a letter, it's just a phone call where you need to list 3 references when you're applying for the job, so you can let the recommendation know you don't have to do anything, but here's the job description. And if you do get called, which typically happens after you interview for the job, that person is ready to sing your praises. Thank you for listening today.